Hello again, this is Joe Roberts with a follow-up to my previous video on creating iron with UU. This is basically the process automated. A bit of a monster, but I'll try to walk you through it. Basically, you start with a chest of UU, you go through a sorting machine, I'll explain this part later, to two different auto crafting tables, one that creates copper and one which creates tin. These then deliver through filters to rotary macerators, which then deliver through filters to this auto crafting table, which creates bronze. The bronze is then delivered into this induction furnace, which creates bronze, and then sends it over to this auto crafting table, which creates minecarts. The minecarts are then delivered to these alloy furnaces, which have this sorting or retriever hooked up to them, which deliver into this chest. Now I'll try to run through each piece one by one. Don't have a script for this, so whatever if I screw up. Anyways, first of all, the sorting machine. The reason that this is set up this way is because every single cycle through the ratios of the copper to the tin have to be 3 to 1. So if you notice, this is 9 and this is 3. The reason that I have it distributed across 5 instead of with only 2 like it could be is because the clock cycles need to be exact. You see this, or otherwise you're going to be wasting a lot of UU, which is going to be gunking up your system for no real benefit. This is 5 right here, which means that it'll create 3 recipes of copper and then 1 of tin, which will create 10 bronze dust, which is 5 recipes at this auto crafting table. So this auto crafting table has to pulse 5 times in the basically in for every 3 cycles of this copper machine. So what I just did is that I made it 5 on the leading edge, and then I don't really have to worry about it. The machine should never be gunked up. Going through the system, basically the filter, you want the filter as close to this rotary macerator as possible so that there's as little space here as possible. If you have a system with a whole lot of UU going through it, you don't want problems cropping up, and the best way to avoid that is to have as small of a place between the two locations as possible. If I could, I'd have it delivering directly into it, but macerators have to take away from the top, and auto crafting tables have to, or macerators have to take in from the top, and auto crafting tables have to take out from the top. So this is the best that we can do. Then coming off of it, again, filters, going into this auto crafting table. Now if you notice, the tin and the copper are in different sections. That's because this auto crafting table actually has 5 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then here on the bottom. And that corresponds to the 5 columns. And then the output is always on the top. And so then we have another filter coming out of the top, which delivers the dust to this induction furnace, where it is turned into bronze. That bronze is then delivered through a filter to this auto crafting table, which, as soon as this pulses again, it'll show you it makes a minecart. There we go, got a minecart. And then those minecarts go into these alloy furnaces, see, and then turns it into iron. And the iron is then brought in through this retriever, which has a finite amount in it, and then delivered into this chest over here. Now, alloy furnaces require blue electric power. Quite a bit of it. Not that much, that's drastically overkill, but a significant amount. These require to be spun up to basically get the system working at its maximum potential, or indeed at all, because it's not, like, if you notice, this is a lot of idle time. If you don't have it spun up, then it's basically going to be spun down the whole time. Just make sure that you have an on-off switch at a central location, especially if you're on SG Tech. Technically, you're not supposed to have these machines running while you're offline. Power, induction furnaces, I'm not sure if I mentioned this, they only take MV. They don't take HV, and they don't have a way of taking HV because there's no place to put a transformer upgrade. So instead I just put a single transformer upgrade into the macerators and ran an external MV transformer over here. That that's basically the whole thing of it. I mean, like I mentioned in the previous video, these alloy furnaces only take out from one specific side. The right side, as it is here, but I'm not sure that's always true. Be careful that these pipes will sometimes deliver into the batteries. You don't want that happening, so that's why I have the batteries in kind of a different column. And then you can turn the whole system off by putting a lever here and flicking that switch. And now you're no longer making iron out of UU. But as it is, I mean, it's a relatively efficient rate of making UU. I mean, you're making 10 iron every 12 UU, and that's not too bad. I mean, especially if you have a massive reactor set up like over here, it's not that bad. This is just an idea of how it works. It's part of what you could actually make a larger machine out of a solar generator. I actually made one of those for a friend of mine. I'll show that off. But anyways, this is just what I intended to show you. It's the automation of what happened in my previous video. So I'll hit you with some more tutorials later, and this is Joe Roberts signing off.